The other day I was online and I saw this really cool video response that everybody was doing. I saw it. It's called Tarot Extremes, and I think it's an older one, but I saw it on Boho Tarot. So I will definitely, tag whoever. I don't know who was the original creator of it, but I know I just saw it on Boho. So I'll make sure that when I, do the title and everything, that I add in exactly, the hashtag to the creator. But it just looks like so much fun. I was like, oh, these categories are fun. So I did one just to have a little bit of fun out here on Tarot too. So let me get started. My name is QueenAusetHeru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and pass it on to someone else who might like it too. Please drop us a positive comment in the comment section. And if you want to get a reading done, please email me or hit me up on social media. All of my information, as well as my Patreon and my Amazon wish list and anything else you might want to know, is underneath this video. So let's get started. So there are different categories in this tarot to the extremes. So I'm just going to show them to you one at a time. The first one here says minimalist deck versus your maximalist deck. Oh, my maximum is heavy. That is heavy. Okay, so I'm going to show them to you one at a time, okay? So let's move this out the way. The minimalist. The minimalist is this one. This was actually a very lovely gift that was given to me by an Aquarius from Ask an Aquarius. She sent me a lot of decks, as a matter of fact. They were hers, and she was not using them, so she sent them to me. And this one, as soon as I saw it, I was like, yeah, this is really minimalist. But sorry guys, I had to knock things over to get what I wanted. Sometimes you got to break a few eggs to make an omelet. So let me show you some of the pictures, okay? Some of the cards, I should say. Minimalist. You see? So there's color here. It's very attractive. And these cards are very good quality, by the way. They have like some type of a petal finish on them or something. But they're minimalist compared to my other decks. They have, very little going on. It's not going to stop me from being able to read them, of course, because once you know what the cards mean, it doesn't really matter what the image is. It could add to it, but for me, it never really takes away. So, as you can see, it's like just 1, 2, 3, maybe a few, symbols in each one of these, but it's very, very minimalist. It's not a bad deck though. Like I said before, I like the size of the cards. I like the silver foiling. It has a lot of really great things, but it just is one of those decks that does not have a lot going on as far as the images are concerned. See? Beautiful deck. Gorgeous deck. So now we're going to take a look at our maximalist deck. This one is called Alchemical Visions Tarot, the Alchemical Visions Tarot, right? And I'm going to show you a few of the cards. Now you'll see why I call this maximalist. I call it maximalist for 2 reasons. The first reason is because of the size of the cards. The card is so big it doesn't even fit into my card holder. Look at that. And this is a pretty large card holder, you see? They're kind of glossy, but look at the images. There is so much going on in this card. Do you see that? Look at that. There's faces, there's people, there's all kinds of stuff going on in these cards, and they're huge. They're larger than charts, first of all, so they're the maximum size. I've never seen tarot cards this large. So they're the maximum size, and not only are they the maximum size, they have the maximum amount going on in the background. Even though a lot of it's black and white, there's still a lot going on with these illustrations, as you can see. So somebody could really, that's why I bought these, because I was like, oh, that's really cool, very unique idea. But yeah, so much going on and so humongous. So humongous. These, I definitely have a hard time shuffling. Look at that. See? So that's my maximalist, what is it? Minimalist versus maximalist decks. Those two. Definitely polar opposites of the extreme. Now I'm going to show you my daytime versus nighttime. These are really funny, okay? This one here is my daytime. This one, a lot of you will be very familiar with, the Good Karma Tarot, as you can see. Now, what makes this a daytime deck, you may be asking me? Well, first of all, I'm going to just grab a few and show them to you, some of my favorites. First of all, the backs of it are yellow, so I associate that with the sun. But then when you look at the cards themselves, let's not glare you, okay? When you look at the cards themselves, they're mostly in the daytime. They're either in the daytime or they're in the house, and we can't tell really where they are. But a great deal of them is daytime. Almost all of them that I remember. I don't remember all of them, of course, but daytime. See? So that's why this is my daytime deck, because a lot of the images are in the daytime, and I thought that was really cool. Then I have a nighttime deck. Now I'm gonna tell you why this is my nighttime deck. This is my nighttime deck because every time I use it, it's at night. I have not used this deck once before 4 o'clock. You're getting ready to see why. These cards are called the Kanzari cards, okay? They're not really considered to be tarot or oracle. They're considered to be a supplement, like a Ouija board, or like for, you know, what do we call that? Ghost hunting and things like that. However, what I do with them is a little bit different because, of course, I do my own thing with them. So I'll take them and I'll shuffle them. And again, I love using them at night. I'll take them and I'll shuffle them. And I'm trying to keep the glare out your face. Let me pull it back like that. That's better. There's not anything at the bottom, as you can see. So right there is good. So I use them at night. We do ghost hunting with them. Basically, I talk to the spirits. I pull this deck out. And I ask, you know, is anybody present? And I pull 7 to 10 cards. And the thing that's cool about these is that they give you all kinds of messages. Like, for example, they will tell you if the person can be picked up on EVP, electromagnetic. They have symbols. Each of these symbols means something. I use the letters on here to spell out a name. So if I ask the spirit their name and they give me enough letters, I will know their name. I could ask them their zodiac sign if I want to, and they may or may not give it to me, depending upon what's going on. I can ask them, how did they pass away? And they can tell me if they, you know, passed by, don't want that in your face. Hold up. Okay. They can tell me if they passed by natural causes or not. So that's how I read these. There is a way to read them in the booklet, but I didn't use it. I made my own spread. You know how I am. And sometimes I just ask questions and just throw the cards out. So I only use these at night. Now, mind you, you can talk to spirits any time of the day, but I really enjoy it better at night. I feel like the energy is stronger at night personally. And they have all kinds of little images on them, as you can see. So they can give me all kinds of information besides just like their name, their zodiac, and all of these little ones here. Like some of these will tell me maybe their spiritual affiliation when they were alive and things like that. So these, I don't know. I bought these a long time ago on Amazon. And I think that they're still available. But yeah, we only use them at night. And you can use them any time of the day or night. But I just prefer using them at night. I like ghost hunting at night. The next one here says, let me see. The best shuffle versus the worst shuffle. Okay. This one is hands down the best shuffle out of all of the cards that are in my collection, the Slow Tarot. And to be honest with you, I wasn't even expecting to like this deck that much. I thought it was going to just be okay. But I'm gonna tell you guys, let me get this for you. There we go. But I'm gonna tell you guys that I really do love this deck. I love it. My favorite card is the double card, which is oddly enough a card a lot of other people complain about, because the person in the devil card is a chubby lady. But as you can see, I'm into chubby ladies. That's my aesthetic. That's my thing. So here we go. Take a look at this. These. Best shuffle. First of all, they have this kind of a linen finish on it. They have a great size, as you can see. And let me show you something. They're very easy to hold them all in your hand. So something like that. And when you shuffle these, I don't know if you guys have this deck or not, but when you shuffle these, they're very pretty. Here's our glare in your face. But when you shuffle them, they shuffle very easily. So out of all of my decks, this one is the absolute best shuffle. Whenever I'm tired and I just want to like get answers easily, that's the deck I pull out. Now my worst shuffle is this one. I like this deck though. The artwork is beautiful. It is the most beautiful artwork I've ever seen. Well, not the most beautiful, but one of the most beautiful decks I've ever seen. Put it like that. I like the modernness in it and I love the diversity of it. But for some reason, I don't know what they did with these cards. I cannot shuffle these cards. They're so thick and so stiff that I never reach for this deck. Even though I really, really like the artwork. I never reach for it. Because I know if I reach for it, I'm going to have to work harder than I would with any of my other decks. And look how gorgeous it is. It's definitely my aesthetic. Let me move this over and show you a few more cards. It's definitely my aesthetic. It's just it is stiff and thick, and these things will last the test of time because nobody's going to be able to ever shuffle them. So I was told by somebody else, by another reader, that if you continue to use them regularly, they slowly but surely loosen up a bit. I have not been able to prove or deny that yet. So I'm thinking like, okay, I'll try that. All right, confronting versus comforting. The most confronting deck I own is this one. Let me show this to you. This deck is called Black Lives Matter. This is a gorgeous deck. It's one of the most confronting decks that I own. And the reason why is because the images in here are extreme. There you go. It's just the Hanged Man, right? The images in here are very political. They're activists. Whoever, did this, I call this my activist deck. This was not easy to come by. As a matter of fact, I had to email the creator, and he was so kind to hook me up with one of these. But it's my activist deck. I'm African American. I recognize all of these symbols and what they mean and what they stand for. And it's very confronting. I mean, when you look at this, injustice is in your face. Injustice, oppression. It's a beautiful deck though. I mean, it's not all just injustice and oppression. Like for instance, the Queen of Cups, I think is a really beautiful card. But there are a lot of very confronting cards in here. Okay. So they really are in your face, They're Five of Wands. So it's a real, in my opinion, it's a very confronting kind of deck, but not in a bad way. It just reminds me that there are people who are still oppressed. It reminds me of, injustices against, my people, the community, things like that go on every single day. So that's a very confronting deck. Now, comfort. When I need comfort, this is the deck that I go to. Let me show it to you. It's big, so it's going to be hard to get it in the picture. There we go. This is my comforting deck. I use it for my own personal inner child work. I now have a lot of other inner child decks, but this is just one of them. I'll show you a few of the cards. They're large, but not as large as the Alchemical Visions Tarot. but I love them. When we talk about comforting, these are the fairy tales that my mother used to read to me as a child. So it's very comforting to look at this deck. I mean, all of these stories are the ones, I had all these books. I've always loved to read, and my mother always encouraged education. So I had almost all of these fairy tales in one way, shape, or form. Here's the big bad wolf. So when I need to be comforted, when I'm sad or something like that, I get this one out. I love the colors. I love the energy. And it reminds me of my childhood. The great parts of my childhood. Now, we're going to take a look at every day versus every so often. Alright, so everyday deck. This is my everyday deck. It's huge. ArchAngel Tarot for Transformation. I sent off for this deck years ago, like 10, maybe more years ago. And it came from South Africa, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm going to show you some of the cards. Alright, so here we go. These cards are based on South Africa and 4 different groups of people. The people of different areas, if I'm not mistaken. And it's a beautiful deck. I bought it because I wanted something that was specifically from sub-Saharan Africa. And I had never seen it before. I saw it on some website. The cards have their traditional meanings, but then they also have another, word from this particular culture. There's a huge guidebook that I'm still working through. And as you can see, I've had them for quite some time. That's why I said this is my everyday deck. I have used it every day, a lot of days, okay? A lot of days. I love it. And so it has gotten beat up. The gold part used to go to the edges. That's how much I've used it. That slowly but surely the picture is eroding from it, unfortunately. I'm going to have to purchase, I hope I can find another one of these and purchase a pristine copy to keep. But yeah, I've used these many, many, many times. A lot of my clients really like this deck. It's not one I see very often though, if at all. So that is the ArchAngel Tarot. So if you're interested in like a study of the people of that area, there's a lot going on here as far as like words and all kind of stuff. All right, so that was every day. Oh, every so often. Let me show you every so often. Every so often doesn't have a bag anymore. It was in a box, and the box is long gone. But every so often I pull out my soul deck. This is my soul deck. I've only read with this deck very few times for another person. It is mine. It's called the Daughters of the Moon Tarot. It is out of print. Unfortunately, the creator has passed over. She's no longer on this side of the realm with us. And I rarely even see it. And when I do see it, it's astronomically priced. So I only use these every so often because my attempt is to preserve them for my lifetime, at the very least, maybe longer. And I pull them out just for me. This is a me deck. This is a self-care deck. So when I want to be with me, this is the deck I pull out for me. So I don't pull it out often. It might come out maybe 3 or 4 times a year. But yeah, it's priceless. I can't get another one, unless I want to spend an astronomical amount. I've seen, one time I saw this deck go up for $1,000, and I was like, oh my goodness. So I'm very careful with this deck, and I keep it, hidden away. Make sure nobody alleviates me of it. And yeah, it's beautiful. Has a great use of nudity. Yep. In a very artistic kind of way. So that is the Daughters of the Moon Tarot. My every so often baby. Then we have overrated versus underrated. So for overrated, I don't have a copy of it. I sold it. It was so overrated and I wasn't using it. And I'm talking about the Rider-Waite-Smith. The original, not the bicentennial or anything special with it. It was just a regular old one in the yellow box. And I think I paid like $12 for it on Amazon or maybe more. Something like that. It wasn't expensive. And somebody wanted it and I sold it because I never used it. I had enough Rider-Waite clones that I liked way more that I thought it was overrated and quite frankly not that attractive. Now I do know that it is like, you know, the Rider-Waite-Smith and the Toff deck are like, you know, two of the biggest rock stars in the tarot community. A lot of people love that deck. I can't stand it. I have a copy of it that's called the Melanated Classic Tarot, and it's the Rider-Waite-Smith, but everybody is a different shade of different colors, browns or beiges, you know, different people of color. And I like that one, and I do still have that one. But the original one, the one that everybody has, I sold. I didn't like it. I think it's awesome for learning to read on, though, I'll tell you that. It makes it a lot easier. Very easy symbolism. But I just think that it's unattractive and overrated. And I understand why people use it, but not my thing. So the one that's underrated, and I don't understand why this one is underrated, the Sock Monkey Oracle. I'm going to put all the links to these underneath this video, by the way, in case you want to purchase. And this one I reviewed on my channel. So up here, I'll put right there in the corner my review of this one. And I don't understand. It is the cutest deck. When I saw it the first time, I immediately contacted the creator because I thought it was just so cute. And I never see this deck. The only time I see this deck is when I pull it out or when the creator does, she's on Instagram and she'll do like a card every Monday or something like that. So I really just love it. I think it's cute. I think it's fun. And even though the pictures are like, you know, these cutesy little pictures, these meanings are not playing. Like the meanings are really serious. They talk about jealousy, envy, gossip, healing, traveling, relationships, children, love. They talk about really, you know, in-depth, intense things. It's not, you know, child's play at all, even though the cards are so cute. So I really feel like the Sock Monkey Oracle is underrated, and I'm like, guys, you're sleeping on this. You are sleeping on it. So that's the Sock Monkey Oracle. The next one here, let me see this category. Oh, this is the last one, guys. Is light work versus shadow work. So let me show you. Yeah, let's get this going like that. And let's pull this back. And let me show you the last one. Light work. So I have a lot of light work decks. So I just picked out one of them that I like to work with when I particularly want to get into the energy. This one here is the Secret Language of Light. And I really like this one, and I'm going to tell you why. First of all, the cards are awesome. I love the backs. I think that's the most beautiful back. Great petal finish. And then the light. It plays with your eyes. I love it. Look at this. So it's not just light as in light meanings, which they definitely are, but it's also light as in what I'm getting, like an inner light, you know? And the light in the card itself, the way that it's drawn. As soon as I saw these, I was like, that is really beautiful. So this is one of the ones I use for light work. I also have, like I said, many others, but this one is one of my favorites. And you see how they all have that light? That's what I love about them. There's a light, you know, all throughout. You know, there's like a star, and then it's all these beams, and it's just beautiful. So that is my light work deck. And for shadow work, I pretty much always go with the same deck. I add some decks to it, but this is usually what I build around. Let me show it to you. I love this deck. I reviewed this one on my channel. I'll definitely put right here in the corner a link to that in case you want to see it. But it's the Wisdom of the Shadow. If you do not have this deck and you're doing shadow work, I don't know what you're doing with your life. Because this is, in my opinion, hands down, the best deck on the market for shadow work, period. I know there are other ones that people say, oh, what about this? What about that? I've seen all of those. This is the one that does the job. Let me show y'all this. First of all, the images that are in it and what it invokes, what it talks about. It gets right into that shadow. The book is amazing. Not only does it talk about the energy in the card, but then it gives you journal questions to work on. And they give you a ritual. So every card has journal questions, a long explanation that talks about it, keywords, and then lastly is the ritual. And the ritual is something that you can do to either enhance the energy or to help with whatever is going on, whatever that shadow is with you. I've done a lot of shadow work readings with my clients, and I always use this deck. So if you want a shadow work reading, hit me up. I offer shadow work. I offer inner child readings, divine feminine readings. I offer a lot of different niche kind, and I also, of course, do general readings, love readings. I love the emotions. That is not afraid to touch on your emotions. It's not afraid to talk about it, and it lets you know not to be afraid. So that is my shadow work deck. So ladies and gentlemen, those are all of the decks that I have to show you today. I really enjoyed this hashtag. I really enjoyed this video response, and I'm going to upload it, and I hope you like it too, and let me know what you think, and I will see you next time.